hate to tell you how to build your deer stand, but if you're gonna do it, build it the way you really want it. Hey team, it's Daniel again with Brazos Valley Boars and Varmits. So I'm at one of my favorite places. I'm out here in Mason County, America, and this is where my deer lease is. And a couple years ago, my kids started getting of age to where they could actually like come and sit and enjoy and actually start shooting their own deer. So like that's been a thing. But our deer stand that really most of the deer stands that have been out here have been one-man deer stands. For example, look at that one. That's what we used to call the tower stand, because you can see that tower platform is there, and there was a all just plywood thrown together, you know, really just 4 foot by 4 foot, so that way one person could sit in it. Not ideal for trying to get kids in there. So like if you're just an individual, man, that thing was great. It was wonderful, really tall. But as a father, I present to you the G.H.O.S.T, which is an acronym, the Grand Hunting Overbuilt Shooting Trailer. So let's get into it. So guys, obviously let's start with the base. This started off as an old Chevy pickup bed trailer. It's an 8.5 foot bed of itself, but then once you lay the tailgate down, then you get that extra 18 inches, extra 1.5 foot. So I got a full 10 foot wide, or sorry, 10 foot long trailer, and then however wide a pickup bed trailer is also. And then these are 4 foot long windows, and I got those from some deer lease supply, you know, feeder, deer stand supply building company. I'll put a link in the bottom. They ain't cheap, but man, these things have been great. Now I probably do have this trailer way overloaded, but at the same time, once I finally got it here, it's parked, and honestly, I don't care. So big whoop-de-doo on that. Now I do have jack stands on the ends, so that way we can try to like level this thing out. You can see the other one over here. So that way we can try to get this thing as, you know, even as good enough for the deer lease. So obviously you see the 2 big windows there. I did make the stand tall enough that you could stand up and kind of stretch a little bit and also have a shelf inside of it. So let's check that out. It doesn't come with a little boy. You got to make one of those yourself. All right, Jesse, go again. So full size door to get inside, and mirroring the front of the back is going to be those same 4 foot wide windows with a rain guard just above them. And let's jump in. Some stairs built up to go into it. And inside, you can see I've got it lined with carpet, and I've got 3 full-size office chairs in here. One of them is in fact a gaming chair, and you can see that I have a set of bog pods in the corner, and those things just live here. They don't live anywhere else, they just stay right here. You can see I've got a shelf built up all the way around, so that way you can put different supplies of things. For example, in that box, I've got more propane bottles for the propane heater that goes in here. Also have paper, you know, roll of paper towels for spilling coffee, Gatorades, orange juice, you know, kids drinks and stuff. And then a crazy thing, I have a ceiling fan, and actually I have 2 ceiling fans. I have 2 ceiling fans in this deer stand. That's how big this thing is. So the fans run to those cords, which have those on-off switches right there. And then I also got a thermostat in next to this as well, so that way you can tell how hot it is in here. Right now, it's not that hot this morning in October, so it's really not, you know, gonna be too hot inside of here. But man, when you come in, you know, September or, you know, July, trying to do all, you know, trying to do your prep work out here, woo, this is a cooker. Those cords then go down and have alligator clips on them, so that way you can run it to a deer feeder battery. So guys, I went ahead and opened up some windows in here, got inside. And I got these bricks built up because the cords just aren't long enough for the battery to sit on this shelf that I've got here. But so I just put these bricks up here, that way it all reaches, right? So I got alligator clamps going to your 12-volt deer feeder battery, the same one that goes in the deer feeder that you got plenty of these things laying around anyways, and flip a switch. It is quiet, but that is moving some air. And if you're a deer hunter where in the first weekend of November, it is just cooking outside, you know, we've hunted with, you know, 90 something degrees on that is not unheard of. And you're just like, man, that carcass is gonna get real hot real quick. And in fact, inside of this box, I'm gonna get real hot real quick too. Being able to move some air, being able to just thinking ahead enough to build this stand tall enough. Why is it so tall? That's ridiculous. Of course it is. Of course it's ridiculous. I've got 2 ceiling fans inside of this deer stand, but man, am I comfortable. I'm not having to just sit here and sweat unnecessarily. That's what's uncalled for. So, you know, if you're gonna build one, put the things in it that you really want. And I'll tell you what, man, I really want a fan. How cool is that? One time I accidentally left this on one of these deer feeder batteries. I don't remember if it was a 7 milliamp hour, 9, I don't remember. The thing ran for 20 something hours before it died. So, you know, if you're sitting here for just, you know, a few hours at a time, one deer feeder battery is gonna last you all weekend. And then you just put it back on the charger and she's ready to go again. So man, I love that thing. It is wonderful. Now also, like we showed, I've got these windows in here on front and back, so that way whenever you open both sides, you really do get some breeze blowing through here. Now obviously that means that you're blowing scents downrange. However, at the same time, if you're just gonna sit here and sweat like crazy and try to convince your kids that this is a lot of fun, that ain't happening. So I gotta make it comfortable for them as well. And you know what, the more comfortable I make it for them, the more comfortable I make it for myself. So I don't know if I'm just using them as an excuse, but this is an overbuilt hunting shooting trailer. So grand hunting overbuilt shooting trailer. It's the G.H.O.S.T. Now let's look at these windows a little bit. In fact, I've got these ones up. Let me show you how I get these other ones up. I'm gonna move some chairs around here. Sorry about that, guys. I had to move my chairs around. In fact, I had to move my gaming chair around, because if you're gonna build this thing this big, you might as well, like, again, put your creature comforts inside of here. And so not only do I have a full-size gaming chair in here, I've got a cushion, you know, because I got that bad hip. And so that way, man, you can just get comfortable. You can lay back. You got that pillow there. And boy, I'll tell you, you prop your feet up on this other shelf I got in here, and I guarantee you, I'm not the only person that has gotten some really good naps in their deer stand, but boy, do I do it in style with some comfort. So, don't judge me. You've done this too. But let's talk about these actual windows. So you can see that I've got something over these, and all that this is just the cheapest black towel that you could buy from Dollar General or wherever. And I just cut it to size, right? Just took a pair of scissors. This thing's got frays everywhere. I don't care, it's a deer stand. So, what I've done is I've just stapled this in place. You can see the silver staples here, here, you know, just hold it up in where I want it to be, right? And what I do, I pick it up, and then you've got these latches that you just flip that latch down, and I got the one over here, flip that one down. This as a magnet mount, so that's the only thing that's really sticking out on this window. I grab that magnet mount, and I get my fingers underneath it, and then I can pick this thing up and get it out of the way. Now, you could use that magnet mount and put a metal plate back there to try to get this thing secured up where you want it. I just didn't like it as much. So what I did was I went on ahead and did this old school way of keeping a door closed. I just took a piece of wood, put one screw right there, so that way you could actually just twist this. And now that keeps it up and out of my way. And I got the same thing on the other side, you know, so one for each side, and that's on every single one of these windows. So I've got 2 4-foot windows on the front, 2 4-foot windows on the back, another 4-footer behind me, and then also I've got a you know, next to the door, I've got a 2-footer right there. So windows all the way around, that way I can get air circulating all the way around, or I can just close one off and you know, keep my silhouette down, keep myself hidden well, you know, all that kind of great smart stuff to do. However you want to play it, I've got windows that you can choose to do that or not. I'm glad I went with these black towels. That was the way to go. And then also, if you notice, like, I've got all this carpet that's in here. And this was just some cheap carpet. I think it came out of a hotel. Some guy, you know, bought all that stuff and was selling it on Facebook Marketplace. I bought a whole bunch of it and then cut it to length for, you know, cut it to size for all of the gaps that I had in here. And then just, you know, I put glue on the back of it and then stapled it in place as well. That way I got 2 different ways of keeping it up. And this has been up here for a few years now, and it's worked great. The dark colors, the brown and the black, have really, again, helped keep this area dark. In fact, if you get out there and try to look in, you can't really see this much at all. It's hard to look inside of here and actually see a person. Unless I got the back one open, which obviously you realize we're silhouetting ourselves, but that's a whole different story. If you do this the right way, man, this is golden inside of here. Let's talk about some other things. I hate having a shooting spot that doesn't have a shelf. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I want to be able to set things here, and that's going to be like set my rifle, set stuff. Now, bad thing with these windows is that you've got this big window sill, this not a little sill, but like you have the frame of the window. And so if you try to set a rifle there, you're only touching that one contact point. And really, I don't want hard contact points at all like that. So I keep those green, it's those real cheap ones you can get at Academy. It's got a base of a bag, and then it has like 2 other little bags that make a V, and I keep that right here. So that way it keeps my gun propped up off, you know, so that way I'm not touching this window frame. But also, being that this is an 11-inch window gap here, my scope can still see through. I've got plenty of room to work across. So I just keep those bags. I'm gonna say I keep them in here, and this is the year it proves me wrong. But I keep those live in here. I mean, heck, I keep a bog pod that lives in here. This is the heavy all metal one, but it never leaves. So like, I don't care. It can just stay here. I'm gonna buy the cheaper one because I'm not taking it out. I always want this to be in here. Same thing as those sandbags that I don't have in here either. I say they don't leave. Apparently they walked off somehow. I have kids. Can I blame it on the kids? Was it your fault? You did it? Your sister did it. She's not here to defend herself.
Maybe I did, but if I did, then you asked me to.
Can we blame it on your sister? Maybe your sister did it?
We can blame it on Christine, because she wouldn't know any better. So let's blame it on Christine.
On the little sister? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. She's never been in here.
I know, so blame it on her.
We're still gonna blame it on her?
Yes.
It was my fault. I know it was. So again, shelf all the way up top. I got a spot to put your things up here. Also, I hate not having any other shelving. So down low, I've got a shelf that goes all the way across on the bottom. Not down here where my foot is, right? My foot's down here, but I got another shelf there. That's where I put my coffee, my binoculars, stuff like that, right? So I'm not setting things on the ground, because what I'll do is I'll take my rifle and I'll put my rifle with my butt of the rifle right there and put it in the corner. And you know, so that because you know, rifle, they gotta stay somewhere, so obviously they stay in the corners. But I hate having other things on the floor. I want as little on the floor as possible. So, you know, like where does my coffee go? My coffee goes here. Where do my binoculars go? They go here. You know, all of those, my rangefinder, all of that kind of stuff, right? there was this one time I had a hunting bag that got the strap of it got caught up in the buttstock of the rifle, and then when I rolled the chair, I pulled the bag, which pulled the rifle, knocked the rifle over. And this was back when I was using traditional daytime optics, and you know, when that thing hits, those little springs and wires can let everything move anywhere it wants to. So my zero was way off, and like that was, thankfully my father was with me, and you know, he didn't have any problems. He's an old man. He's been doing this forever. So we shot stuff with his rifle. But now, where do you put your hunting bag? You put it up top. Get that thing out of the way. I don't want stuff on the floor, right? So if you're gonna be the guy who has these creature comforts and these desires and these wants, man, when you're building your deer stand, build it in. Like, sit down and think about this. I used up a lot of paper before I actually, you know, bought a single piece of wood for putting this thing together. The other things that I really love about it is that I had the forethought to put insulation underneath this floor. So that way, if you do have something that gets dropped, I don't know why this is in here. It's muffled not only by the carpet on the floor, but by the insulation that's underneath us. And plus also that insulation kind of helps out, you know, keeping you warm as well. I say that I don't have insulation on the walls. I don't have insulation on the ceiling. But I had a bunch of insulation laying around, so we just went ahead and did it. I do keep a traditional, you know, Coleman campfire stove in here. You know, just one of these heaters. I kinda wish I'd have gotten one of those Mr. Buddy heaters, because it's got that flat top on it that I've seen so many people like put a breakfast burrito on there and then like reheat that thing, and that looks pretty dope. That's pretty cool. You can't really do that with these, but so I don't know. At the same time, being that I have this thing so tightly built, this can get it so hot in here that you are begging for the windows to be open. Even if it is freezing outside, you can get it ridiculously hot in here. So, and I say so sealed off, there was once that I started getting like unusually sleepy when I had this thing going, and I had all the windows closed, and I realized that I was not doing myself any favors here, because I put caulking on every single junction of every single corner, everywhere that air could escape, which also means that ants and spiders and stuff could get in. I caulked all of that, or I put like black tape over it. I did something to keep ants and spiders and wasps out of this place. Also, like, you got to be careful when running these, because you don't want to give yourself carbon. I don't know if it's carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. I forget which one it is, but you don't want to give yourself poisoning like that and accidentally delete yourself. Bad idea. Open up some windows. It all went out real quick. So that was great. But guys, be smart. I almost made a bad mistake. Don't do that. Now, son, what is some of your favorite things about this deer stand, the G.H.O.S.T?
It's really that, like, two people can just be sitting here. Yeah. And then there's plenty of space for someone to just kind of like sit back here, or just like walk right here. Yeah. So they're like, well, the other two people, because if you made it smaller where it's not made for two people, then like I wouldn't have any room to just sit here and wait until it's my turn. It's like, I'm glad that has enough room for me to sit here even though I'm not shooting. Yep. Or like Chelsea sit here, they're not shooting. And I am glad that it has all these shelves. You like the shelves too? Yeah. Well, and then also, you know, we had two gaming chairs in here. We put one of them in a different stand, and we put just one of these cheap office chairs we got from somewhere for really cheap. Put those in here because they take up less foot space. But what that allowed us to do is, son, push that one chair all the way into the corner. Push that chair all the way up front. Yep. Now I can back off. Look how much I'm having to turn this camera because of how much space we have in here. But I can back off into this corner over here. And son, go ahead and lay down here. Show them what we're working with.
They can both sleep. Him and then his older sister can both just lay there and sleep while I'm sitting here watching the feeder. And there's plenty of room for the chairs, 3 chairs. And then for me to sit in one of them, mind you, like I've got this camera stand in front of me, but I can scoot this forward and lean back. I can get some shut eye too. But then also they can be laying down and the chairs are all still in here. So, man, I hate to tell you how to build your deer stand, but if you're gonna do it, build it the way you really want it. Because I took the extra time and did the extra steps, like I said, sealing this thing off, building this shelf up in here. I've got it framed the same way that you would frame a home. This thing is solid, but at the same time, I'll probably be able to hunt in this stand maybe for the rest of my life. I really hope so. I really hope that in 20 years from now, my kids will be able to say, remember that old stand that we helped Daddy build? And, and now look at us, we're still hunting out of it today. That would be cool. If I were to just take some cheap plywood and just barely screw it together as a one-man stand, you saw that it was falling over right over there and nobody cares about it. It's junk. I've shot plenty of deer out of it though. I can't complain. I've killed lots of good deer out of that stand. But now that it's more than just me,
this is perfect. This is perfect.
Guys, I love deer season, but it's always hog season. And it's always family season. Bye.